Alright, so it's Haley Douglas. I'm going to be doing your interview. So, I'm in Vietnam War class right now, and I'm supposed to be learning about Vietnam War veterans, and I would love to do an oral interview with you. Is it alright if I talk to you?
That's fine.
So, what's your name?
My name's Carl Morgan.
What was your rank?
When I retired, I was a senior master sergeant.
Wow, that's a very large rank there. What was your job?
During Vietnam?
Yes, sir.
During Vietnam, I was an explosive ordnance disposal specialist.
So what does that mean?
I took bombs apart.
Oh, well that's fancy turn there. So how long did you serve?
I served for 23 and a half years active.
Wow.
I started out in the Army, but I finished up in the Air Force.
Okay. Did you have some negative personal responses when you came home?
Yes, I did.
For example, did you have like people spit on you or call you names?
Well, I went over as a one person. I got sent TDY to Vietnam. And because in explosive ordnance disposal, there weren't enough of us to cover the United States and Vietnam. Viet Cong sappers had hit an ammo dump just north of Da Nang Air Force Base and blew munitions all over the place. So they would rotate half a detachment out of the States to Vietnam every month and a half in order to handle it. When I came back as an individual. I ended up going the long way around, going from Vietnam to the Philippines to Korea to Alaska, and ended up in San Francisco, California. When I got off the plane in San Francisco, a woman, I guess she was from Berkeley because she looked like one of them, came running up to me and spit on me.
Wow.
Called me a baby killer and everything else, and I didn't kill anybody. But
You were just doing what was asked of you.
that's right.
What was what your job was?
My detachment, nobody was injured on my detachment, but the detachment that replaced us, all of them were killed due to munitions going off where we were working.
Okay. We actually learned about how a lot of music played a lot of parts in soldiers' lives. Did music ever play a part in yours?
Oh yeah. In '71, one song I always remember, Jeremiah was a bullfrog. That was the first. Every time we went by the dining facility or everything, Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Yeah, we heard Green T-Shirt Blues. That was a big one too. We heard that song, and that was definitely a big part of other soldiers' lives. And I guess like when that song came out, I guess helped soldiers. Music really did help soldiers' way of coping.
Now, when I served over there, I didn't go over till the end of 1971, when I was at the end of the war. And there's a lot of people, like my uncle. He was a World War II vet. He also did Korea. He did 6 tours of Vietnam. And we both came back from Vietnam at the same time. He retired. A year and a half later, I got out of the Army. But I went back in 1975. December of '73, I got out of the Army and
Went right back in.
went back in it's actually September of 1975.
Wow. Seems like a very big thing, getting out and then going right back in.
Well, it was different. You'd spend all the time in the military. You learn basic camaraderie with your friends, the discipline. Everybody from my high school had already moved on in their life, and I was basically starting over from scratch, just like I just got out of high school. So I went back in where I felt comfortable at.
Makes sense. I mean, my parents were in the military, as you know. I mean, we're at Three Keys, which is like the family-owned restaurant. What was probably the most difficult part for you in Vietnam War?
Most difficult part, not knowing the people, the country, customs. That was primarily the things. The big thing was when I initially went into the military, I didn't go in to become an explosive ordnance disposal specialist. I had a program, I passed the officer qualification test, but I didn't have the college to back it up. And I had a program which was called Shake and Bake NCO in Army. What that meant is you went through basic training, you went to your advanced individual training, you went to the NCO Academy, came out an E5 sergeant. While I was in basic training, I found out that was a one-way ticket to Vietnam because you were expected to lead men in combat with no experience at all. And I started questioning that while I was in basic training. They came up and said, well, your scores are so high, we got another program, the EOD. But the back portion of that, they didn't tell you when you got to your first school for EOD, if you failed one test, you went straight to Vietnam as a ground pounder. Class started out with 186 people. We finished phase 1, we were down to 82 people. The first person to fail the first test had orders for Fort Polk, Louisiana, processed Republic of Vietnam.
Wow.
Finished phase 2 at Indian Head, Maryland Naval Ordnance Depot. 24 of us graduated. Phase 3, nuclear weapons, 12 of us finally graduated. Still has a 95% failure rate today.
Wow, that's crazy. I guess people really don't. I think the thing that interests me most is that people don't really know about the war, because we always think of World War I or World War II. Do you think that? What were the causes of Vietnam War? What do you believe caused the Vietnam War?
Fear of communism spread.
Were you ever afraid of communism?
Actually, Ho Chi Minh, before he went to the communists, went to the United States. He wanted the United States to back him to reunify Vietnam, especially after the French, and the United States turned him down. So then he went to the Communist Chinese. Communist Chinese backed him. And his total goal was reunification of Vietnam.
Makes sense. Were you kind of just drafted into there, or did you kind of just volunteer to go? Because I know some people kind of volunteer.
I volunteered for the draft. I took a 3-year volunteer when I first went in. Like I said, my family has served every war this country's had, from the French and Indian to the present day.
Wow.
My nephew did Iraqi for Indian and 3 tours in Afghanistan. My son did Bosnia, Kosovo. I did Desert Storm, Vietnam. My dad did World War II. His brother did World War II, Korea, and Vietnam.
Yeah. So when you went to Vietnam and you were away from home, did something help you cope with being away from home?
Well, before I went back and I had time with what is now my present wife. We were still dating then. I went to Vietnam, and when I got back, we were engaged to be married. We got married 3 months later.
Wow. So I guess when you came home, you were quite excited.
Oh, yes.
That's insane. I've never really sat down and talked with a soldier before. And I think the best thing for you and for all these other people who want to learn is primary sources, the people who are there. You. What do you believe is the most important thing in life?
Most important thing in life. Your family is the most important. Your country's important, and God's important.
There you go. 3 simple things.
So it's all in your lookout in life.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me about your voice words. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Take care.
No problem.